What's going on, traders? Wanted to drop this specific example today of something where you can use kind of confluence factors. We spoke about higher time frames, but I have not given a concrete example of using the higher time frames along with the intraday frame. So let's jump right into it. So what you're going to notice is GBPUSD. Let me go ahead and hide this. And we're going to notice there was this huge move today. Just dropped right out and even beyond recent lows. So if we go back to like a daily, it's beyond recent lows. Price hasn't been in this range since around here, June of 2017. So it's been a while. It's really low. One of the things I just noticed while I was trying to make sense of it, there's a couple of things that kind of lean in that direction and kind of show us this. So I go to monthly time frame, and you're going to notice a clear downward trend that's happening over the past couple months. And that's signified by the red bars and also the size of them, obviously. So it's red month after red month after red month, one green month, not a big bar, small bar, another red month, a month where they tried to push to the upside and make it a green month, but it still ended up being red. And then now we're into the 11th, 10th. Today's the 10th. We're into the 10th, and it's red. So we got 21 more days for this to close out red as well. So looking at it like that, we see a couple things, couple ideas you can pop up with. It's kind of in this downward trend, obviously, and also looking for an overextended area to be defined by the price action that shows us that it needs that it's going to reverse, so we can get in when it does reverse, not necessarily early, but early relative to the move itself. So I go to the weekly and I see more of the same story. So we're going to see each one of these bars represents a week on this chart. This area right here obviously is where the green bar on the monthly took place. So this looks like either August or September. So if I just flip back to verify, it's September. And I found that out by just kind of looking at the price action. So it bounced off of this low level, this 212 Fibonacci line, pulled back, retraced, hit this 50 EMA on the weekly. So it holds weight, holds a lot of weight, and went back down. So now we're at even below this previously defined level, this 212 level, extended fib. So we got a lot of red though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row to the downside. And that's after a pretty strong reversal from a key level and a 50 EMA headed downwards. So if I flip over to the daily chart, see if this tells me anything that I can really kind of pull from this. So again, we're going from the higher time frames and kind of working our way down, try to see what happened here. And if you'll notice, the daily chart doesn't really do anything for you. It kind of shows you some price action here with this like triple top type of look that kind of follows this MACD signal here. But when you think about it, this represents that pullback. And then there's this kind of sideways movement, then a downward movement, and then we broke that area. It does not look half as violent as it does when you look at the weeklies, where you can see like really clear pullback and then downward move. And then it doesn't look as bearish as the monthly kind of makes it out to be. So that's something to look at whenever you have more candles involved. Sometimes you can't really see the movement, and the weekly is represented in fewer candles than that daily, but we can really see a movement here. And then the monthly, the story is even more condensed, but we look at the past, recent past, we're looking at April of this year, on down. So even excuse me, this bar that was created in April is a strong reversal bar, and then we had a huge bar in May, and then downwards. But when you look at the daily, we're not zoomed out enough to really capture all that evidence. This is in April, but we're really not looking at it like that. Really, to be honest, human nature, we're looking at the recent, this movement, and none of that looks like a strong pullback and a downward move, really. So something to keep in mind, just something to think about, that's all. Let's get into the intradays. So 4 hour and the 1 hour. If I go to 4 hour, none of this really looks like something that's going to produce a strong movement down. I see like a channel here. Let me draw that in. If I draw this channel in, it's something like this. And again, this isn't like a really by the numbers type of channel. It's not meant to be that. As far as how I'm drawing it, I just kind of want you to see how price has kind of like stayed and pinballed in between here, and then it just kind of fell crazy. So if I go to 1 hour and look at that same movement, to be honest, man, I don't really, this isn't something that that would be on my radar to trade. This 50 EMA isn't really holding a whole ton of weight because we see it breaking it right here, coming down. We saw this move. This move was beautiful, but it wasn't something I personally I'm not able to predict that. That's not something that I would trade, and that's just being real. Maybe I need to become a better trader or something. But there's a move here. It's a little sideways and then a drop. That's not in my vocabulary yet. I can watch it, I can see it, but I can't trade that just yet. Only because I haven't committed to like back testing and really finding out if it's a real thing. But more on that later. I'll talk about that later. But again, the 50 EMA breaking up and down, through it, up and down, through it, up and down, through it. And then this section, this is the part that I look at. Does this look like something that's going to get rejected hard like that? Not necessarily, but maybe I'm on my charts at 8 o'clock last night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And I'm looking at the military time right here, all the way up to 12. So maybe if I'm up late and I'm looking at this, yeah, I might be able to put in a pivot order, but even putting in a pivot order, the price action's above that. It's kind of breaking. It broke above the 50 EMA on this bar, this green bar, you'll notice. And for me, man, just personally, that's not something I would look at and say, oh yeah, this one's about to drop really heavy. But this chart, coupled with me understanding the weekly, the monthly, the daily, and just having an overall bearish sentiment intact, maybe I'm looking at this for an opportunity to enter low or to enter short. Anyways, man, I just want to make a quick video explaining how you can and what the value is, and looking at the higher time frames to kind of give you clues. And it kind of paints a bias. In this situation, it's a good deal because you can kind of be seeing and looking for hints of where it's going to go in the short term based on where it's kind of slanted in higher time frames. But anyways, I hope that was valuable. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Sign up for that free Infinite Prosperity course to get the basics done. And I'll see y'all next video.